Welcome to Downtown Yoga. I'm Monica Copeland, and I'm just going to work you through about a 2-minute hip flexor opener that you can do or you can use as a warm-up before any of the other videos that have been posted on my website, whether it's before a flow or after. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first one here is called a fire log, and this is great. It's actually one of my favorite poses to do, especially after a run, and it does let me know to check in, or it allows me to check in with my hips to just kind of gauge how maybe tight they are. So we're going to bring our left foot out so that it's somewhat parallel to the front of your mat, and then bring the right one on top and have your hips be neutral. So don't have your right hip behind or in front of the left. And then as you can see, my left knee here is having, or my right knee is having some a little bit of difficulty coming down onto that left foot. So just giving myself a moment here to kind of work it down, gently persuading it to open and lower. So a really good way to open the hips is taking the hands behind, and it doesn't matter which way your fingers are pointed. It's okay to have them up on the fingertips even. And then we're going to lift. And maybe you heard some pops there, and if you didn't, my hips love that because it really does release some of the tightness there. So we'll switch sides and bring the right foot under and then the left one on top. And try again. Lifting. And I have heard from some of my students that even lifting sometimes for your hips are really, really tight. Even this action of lifting off of the mat can be a little bit of a challenge. So if that's the case, just do the best that you can and see if you can do your best to lift as much as possible. So we can switch back with the left foot out and the right one on top, and maybe you can see that I'm already opening up a little bit. So we're going to take a nice inhale. We're going to lift the hands above the head, and then exhale. We're going to forward fold, coming over these fire log legs that we've created, placing the palms down and just allowing the head to sort of be used as an anchor or a weight to pull the torso a little bit closer towards the legs. You're going to feel a nice stretch. The outside of the legs. Maybe the hamstrings. Maybe your glutes. And just kind of melt into this. Melting down towards the mat. And walk your hands over to the left side, and again trying to allow the chest to come down towards the legs. You're going to feel this in a really big deep stretch through the right leg. Walk the hands back and gently walk over to the other side. And the goal is to try to get the torso onto that thigh, just releasing down. Maybe you're a little bit more flexible. Some days are different than the other. Maybe you're tighter on one side than the other. Let's come back to center and then walk back up, and we're switching sides. So take that right leg down, or whatever leg you had on top, just switch it out. So again, inhale and exhale. Fold over. And use that head as an anchor, way to pull yourself, allow gravity to take over. Pulling yourself a little bit closer. Try to spin it out. We'll walk our hands over to the left side again. Beautiful stretch. Over to the right side. that little fire log that we had. We're going to come up to our hands and knees, tuck the toes, take the hips right up to a downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg up, bend the heel, or bend the knee, pull the heel towards the toe, take a three-legged dog. So really opening up that hip flexor and try to keep your shoulders neutral, so not to dump into that left shoulder. Take the foot and reach it back out towards the wall behind you. Set that right foot down. Left foot up. Bend the knee. Squeeze the heel towards the glute. Lift the knee up towards the ceiling. And drop the foot over. The right side. Opening up the hip flexor. This is called the three-legged dog. Pulling the heel in. Lifting the knee up. And to come out of this, to bring the knee back down towards the mat. Straighten out that leg. And set it down. Take a minute here. We're going to take our right foot and we're just coming into a low lunge. Sweep the right foot up towards the ceiling. And bring that knee to the nose around to the back. Snap between the palms. And slide the foot, dropping the knee. And we're just allowing this left hip flexor to reach towards the mat. And this right hip is reaching towards the back of the room. So you can kind of think of your hips as scissors, and the left hip is reaching towards the front of the mat, and the right hip is reaching towards the back. So we can place the palms in, and a few more breaths here, and just 3 more breaths. So really trying to open up this hip flexor. Lift the knee, step back into plank, shift to downward facing dog, and we'll switch sides. It's always nice to check in to see if one side's a little bit tighter than the other. Just check into the body, see how things are feeling. The left hip is reaching back now, and the right hip is reaching forward. More breaths. We'll do one more pose for opening up our hips. So tuck those toes, lift the knee, back into your plank, downward facing dog. We're coming into a pigeon's pose. So if you are familiar with that, you can go ahead and do the right side first. If not, we're going to do this together. So lift your right foot towards the ceiling, bring the right knee towards the nose, and then you're going to pull the right foot towards the left side of your mat, and then drop the top of your foot and your shin and your knee down onto your mat, and then slide the left foot back. So the goal is to have the glute on the right side resting on the mat. Go ahead and switch around for you so you can kind of see what this looks like. So do it again. So I switched around and I lost that. So we're trying to release down onto our mat, the glute, and at the same time keeping both hips facing the same direction. So we're trying not to roll over into this pose. We're really trying to keep the hips neutral. So here's where blocks come in handy. If you are finding that you are really far away from the mat, then it's perfectly fine to take a block and just use that as support so that you can rest into this pose. And then when you're ready, you can walk the hands down. And place the forehead on the mat.
Just releasing, letting go of any gripping or any tightening that you have. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up and we'll switch sides. Tuck the toe. I love sweeping the foot back towards the wall just to find some more space in that hamstring, or in that hip flexor rather. So left leg sweeps up, left knee to nose, then sweep that leg across the right side, coming down onto the mat, and then sliding the right foot back. And you can check here too to see if one side's tighter than the other. Maybe the left side's a little bit tighter and you are a little bit more off the mat, so it's okay to, again, use your block. Or if you have a blanket, you can roll up a blanket. Or whatever you have, even a sweatshirt or something, that a pillow, anything that gives you a little bit of support on that side so that you're not rolling over into it, but you can rest that part of your body down. So the further away the heel is from the pelvic bone, the more the stretch, the more opening you're getting. So let's go ahead and walk down, leading with the chest, and then dropping the forehead down. If that's available to you, again, your blocks are there, so use them. You can even use your hands. Stack your fists, whatever you need for support. So you can make that connection with your forehead on something, on the surface. And you're ready, coming up. Again, you can take this opportunity to take a big stretch on that left side. Woo, it feels really nice. And then you can continue on again with some of the other videos that are on the website. Or you can go into more hip stretches, hip flexor openers if you'd like. I thank you for joining me today for some hip flexor openers.